For most people, a mansion means you've made it. But for some celebrities, that dream home became their biggest nightmare. The bigger the house, the faster the fall. And today, we're counting down 10 mansions that didn't just cost millions, they cost everything. Before we start, make sure to subscribe, because only 2% of viewers have subscribed to the channel. So smash that red button, and let's begin. In the early 1990s, MC Hammer was unstoppable. "You Can't Touch This" was everywhere, and so was his money. With over $30 million in the bank, Hammer built himself a 40,000 square foot mega mansion in California. It had marble floors, gold-plated gates, a recording studio, a bowling alley, and even its own stable for racehorses. But he also hired over 200 staff members, cooks, bodyguards, gardeners, drivers, all paid full-time salaries. When his fame started to fade, his spending didn't. Within just a few years, he went from multi-millionaire to bankrupt, drowning in over $13 million of debt. His massive mansion was eventually sold off, and the rapper who once had everything was forced to start over. In his own words, it was all too legit to quit until it wasn't. At the peak of his career, Mike Tyson was one of the richest athletes on earth. So when he bought a 50,000 square foot mansion in Ohio, it was exactly what you'd expect from Iron Mike. Indoor pool, private gym, basketball court, even cages for his pet tigers. But behind the walls of luxury, things were collapsing fast. Lawsuits, legal fees, and wild spending habits burned through his fortune. By 2003, Tyson declared bankruptcy, and his mansion, once filled with gold trim and tiger cages, was left to rot. Years later, it was converted into a church, a temple once built for power, now used for prayer. Few celebrities have ever spent money like Nicolas Cage. At one point, he owned 15 homes, including castles in England and Germany, mansions in Las Vegas, Malibu, and New Orleans, even a private island in the Bahamas. But in 2009, the Internal Revenue Service came knocking. He owed more than $6 million in unpaid taxes. One by one, his properties went up for sale. His Bel Air mansion, once listed at $35 million, ended up in foreclosure. He had to auction off cars, jewelry, and even his prized dinosaur skull. From Hollywood royalty to financial chaos, Cage learned the hard way that you can't buy your way out of bad money habits. In 2009, rapper 50 Cent decided he needed something worthy of his image, so he bought Mike Tyson's old mansion in Connecticut. The property had 52 rooms, a private nightclub, casino, pool, and gym. It was pure luxury. But there was one problem. It cost around $70,000 a month just to maintain. Even with record sales and business ventures, the cost of keeping the estate running slowly drained him. When he filed for bankruptcy in 2015, the mansion went on the market for $18 million. Years later, it finally sold for less than $3 million. The house of a champion became a house of losses twice. Hollywood legend Burt Reynolds built his dream property in Florida, a 150-acre ranch he called Valhalla. Complete with stables, a theater, and a private lake, it was the definition of old-school Hollywood luxury. But as his career slowed and the tax bills kept rising, Valhalla became a burden he couldn't keep. Reynolds had to auction off much of his land and eventually sold the ranch itself to pay debts. He later admitted, "I lost more money than I ever thought I'd make." From film icon to financial cautionary tale, Reynolds proved that even the golden age of Hollywood couldn't outshine bad spending. In the late 1980s, actress Kim Basinger was one of the most successful stars in the world. But when she decided to buy an entire town in Georgia, yes, an entire town, her empire began to crumble. She paid $20 million for Brazelton, planning to turn it into a tourist attraction and film hub. But the project failed almost instantly. Business partners backed out, investors disappeared, and within a few years, she filed for bankruptcy. She sold the town for just $1 million, losing $19 million in the process. It wasn't just a bad deal, it was one of Hollywood's biggest real estate disasters. No mansion symbolizes both luxury and tragedy, quite like Neverland Ranch. Michael Jackson poured over $100 million into creating a personal fantasy world, a zoo, a theme park, and a private railway spread across 2,700 acres. It was magical, but it was also massively expensive. After years of lawsuits, controversy, and declining finances, Jackson was forced to shut it down. The ranch was eventually foreclosed and later sold for a fraction of its worth. For the King of Pop, the place meant freedom, but it ended up representing isolation, pressure, and pain. The dream home that turned into a haunted memory. Boxing champion Evander Holyfield was known for his heart, both in the ring and in spending. He built a 45,000 square foot Georgia mansion with one heated 9 rooms, 17 bathrooms, a bowling alley, and a private chapel. It was one of the biggest homes in America. But with that size came a gigantic price tag. Maintenance alone cost hundreds of thousands each year. Add in child support, legal troubles, and taxes, and the bills became impossible to handle. Eventually, the home was auctioned off for just $7.5 million, a fraction of its construction cost. Holyfield later said, "You can't outfight bad decisions." He was right. Allen Iverson was one of the most electrifying players the NBA had ever seen, and he lived exactly like it. His Atlanta mansion had marble floors, indoor gym, and a full basketball court. But off the court, Iverson struggled with financial management. Lavish parties, endless shopping, and poor investments caught up with him fast. In 2012, he lost his mansion to foreclosure after failing to pay back millions in debt. From MVP to broke, Iverson's story became a warning to athletes everywhere that even fortune can fade faster than fame. At the top of our list is John Travolta, a man who literally built his dream home around his passion for flying. His Florida mansion includes 2 airplane runways leading straight to his front door and hangars for his private jets. It's one of the most unique homes ever built, but maintaining it wasn't cheap. As his acting roles slowed and his lifestyle remained sky high, the mansion became harder to sustain. Travolta quietly sold off parts of his land and reduced his aviation collection to manage costs. It wasn't a collapse like others on this list, but it showed even Hollywood's biggest stars can't outrun financial gravity forever. Luxury, fame, excess, every one of these mansions tells the same story: the price of trying to live like a legend. For some, their dream home became the final chapter of their success story. Because when you buy a house worth millions, sometimes it ends up owning you. If you enjoyed this video, check out our last one, where we uncover the terrifying places even big gang lords fear to enter. Click on the screen now to watch it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories about power, wealth, and the dark side of fame.